February 19th, 1994. A woman is rushed into the emergency room at Riverside General Hospital in Riverside, California. She is showing symptoms of late-stage cervical cancer. Little do the ER workers know, however, this is no ordinary evening. The woman's name is Gloria Ramirez. She is a 31-year-old mother of two who lives in the Southern California city of Riverside. She is suffering from an abnormal heartbeat and a drop in blood pressure. The attending nurses administer drugs in an attempt to sedate Gloria and slow her heart. After sedation, the nurses proceed to rip off Ramirez's shirt in order to apply electrodes for defibrillation. Nurses see an oily sheen covering Ramirez's body from head to toe and start to smell a fruity, garlicky smell emanating from her mouth. Susan Kane, another nurse, begins to draw blood. She notices the blood has a, quote, chemical odor, end quote. Susan and the other nurses start passing the syringe around, and another nurse, Julie Gorchinsky, notices small, manila-colored particles floating around in the blood sample. Susan Kane begins to feel nauseous and faints, while Julie Gorchinsky complains that her, quote, face is burning, and also faints. As more and more of the ER staff begin to feel symptoms, Riverside General Hospital declares a, quote, internal emergency and decides to evacuate all patients, except Ramirez, to the parking lot. Gloria Ramirez is pronounced dead at 8:50 p.m. due to kidney failure from her cervical cancer. Days pass, and the hospital decides to call in hazmat teams and federal investigators to take samples from the room where Gloria was admitted and perform an autopsy. Gloria's family, however, aren't satisfied with the explanation and call in an independent pathologist to run another autopsy, but the results are inconclusive. The pathologist can't come up with results because, quote, her heart was missing, it wasn't put back in her body, and the rest of her organs were cross-contaminated with fecal matter, end quote. On April 24th, 1994, Gloria Ramirez's body is buried in an unmarked grave in the Olivewood Memorial Park in Riverside, California. Now, let's get into the theories. Starting it off with one of the most popular theories, the DMSO theory. This theory states that Ramirez had been rubbing DMSO cream over her entire body to cope with the cancer pains. It is described as being oily and having a garlicky-like taste. The oxygen administered by the paramedics in the ambulance on the way to the hospital would have caused the DMSO to turn into dimethylsulfone, which is known to crystallize at room temperature. This would have explained the manila-colored particles in the syringe. Finally, the electric shocks from the defibrillator would have caused the dimethylsulfone to become dimethylsulfate, which is poisonous to humans. Sulfate could have caused the symptoms felt by the hospital workers on the night that Gloria was admitted. The second theory is the meth theory. This theory states that one of the, quote, strange compounds found in Gloria's system in the first autopsy was nicotinamide, which is commonly mixed with methamphetamines. Around this time in the U.S., Riverside County, California, where the hospital was located, was, quote, one of the largest methamphetamine distribution points, end quote. This theory believes that, quote, the hospital was involved in this, and the nicotinamide was smuggled into the hospital using the IV bags that are usually administered to patients. One of the nicotinamide IVs was accidentally distributed to Gloria, causing the chemical blood smell and the symptoms of the workers, which are very similar to, quote, meth fume exposure, end quote. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, nothing definitive has come up about this strange occurrence. In the case of Gloria, the toxic lady Ramirez remains unsolved.